No bubble wrap always makes me nervous. Anyway, let's get this on the bench and get you a better angle. Hopefully this isn't damaged inside. Ooh. Look at that glitter finish. If you didn't already know, this is a Fender Super-Sonic. You've probably seen the more recent version of this here, which was a Squire. It was a Paranormal series, and it was kind of a reboot of these here guitars. I believe the original version of these guitars were a made in Japan model. This is the rerun of that, which is the made in Mexico Fender rather than Squire. This sparkle finish is really, really nice in person. It really didn't come across in the seller's photos. The first thing I'm noticing is the neck alignment looks ever so slightly off. We're right up close to the edge of the fretboard at the bottom here. The top end, the first fret, looks great. I think we just need to bring the neck around a little bit. I have found on the Squire model that I had of this that the neck alignment wasn't that great. It took a bit of playing around anyway. So I'm not really surprised that this one's any different. Now, I'm not blaming the seller on that. You know, that's a flaw with Fender and these models, with a tiny little neck pocket and those screws. But what we can do is we can loosen the screws in the neck pocket, try to bring this neck in a bit and then tighten them up again. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think we'll get it sorted. I'm not worried about that. The pick guard that I had for these here was a single humbucker only pick guard. I could make my own one, in fact. Maybe I will. Maybe that's something we can do. So we've got the Fender classic style split post tuners. You can see someone's kind of overwound the E string on this one. As I said, it was made in Mexico, I believe the 2012 serial number. The iconic reverse headstock, and it's a big fat headstock, something akin to the 70s Strats. Our Fender Supersonic branding on there. We've got the bullet style truss rod adjustment, or the bullet that goes into the truss rod. Again, that's a nod to the 70s style ones. Really nice looking rosewood fretboard. I really like it. Some nice green in there, some nice stripes. Could do with a bit of a clean and oil, but again, we don't care. It's a 13-year-old instrument now. It looks like a plastic nut. Maybe we'll replace that with a bone one. The frets are looking really good. Plenty of meat on them. There's no real divots in them. Could probably just do with a little polish. Dot inlays, this kind of like cream looking, almost beachy wood color looking. I really actually like them. Sound like I'm some sort of dot inlay connoisseur. Neck is a maple neck with the skunk stripe where they've inserted the truss rod. Never really understood a skunk stripe on a two-piece neck, with the fretboard being a separate piece. It's a conversation for another day, I guess. This little tiny neck plate with the strap button on the neck plate. Beautiful contoured, kind of reverse offset body. I really, really, really love it. Heavy flake, dark grey silver, I suppose. It's not quite black flake, but heavy flake sparkle body. Really, really nice. We get two pickups, two humbuckers. They are slanted, as you can see. Three-way toggle switch here. One volume, one tone. That's the way I like it. And the jack is mounted on the top here rather than on the side. These vintage shape Fender branded saddles on the bridge tremolo. Basically a Stratocaster tremolo. It looks to be a big block, but again, we'll get a closer look at that when we take the plate off the back of it here. That's pretty much it, head to tail. Cool looking guitar. I guess all we have to do now is plug it in, see how it plays. I should mention as well, it is a short scale, 24 inch. I know some people probably won't like that, but I don't mind a short scale. One of my first kind of proper Fenders was a Music Master, like 1970 something. And I absolutely loved it. Obviously single neck pickup for once, but short scale and just really fun to play. There we go. That's the nice thing about guitars like this with the jack on the front. You can kind of remove everything without having to cut the jack wires. I did cut the ground wire, but we'll resolder that in. As you can see, the body is routed specifically for these slanted humbuckers. We could do a different route if we wanted to put a different pickup in there, but I think we'll keep it slanted. It's part of the style and I like it. What I'm going to do now is trace this pickguard design onto some MDF, cut it out, try to shape it to this kind of shape or as close to this as I can, and that will become our template. So this is what I've wired up. We've got a volume and a tone pot now. We've got our various ground wires, one for the bridge, one for the screw, using the original jack and the original bridge pickup. It does have the ability to coil split, but it's tied off and I'm going to keep it that way. Now the original wiring was a pretty interesting setup. I didn't realize it actually had 2 volume pots, no tone, which I've never really seen before in a Fender. I didn't realize that's what was in this. I did have a little issue with that when I was doing the sound demo, but I thought I was just messing up and I kind of just ignored it. But now it makes sense. There's 2 volumes. The neck pickup was wired in with the split coils, and the bridge was wired up just normally with the splits tied off. Kind of wish I had noticed that before I went ahead and started making this video. I might have explored it a bit more, but hey, here we are. I'm just going to test it before I string it up to make sure it's working before I go to the hassle of doing all that and having to take it all off again. And then next time you see it, hopefully I'll be playing it. Really quickly, just in case you haven't seen this before, so to test it, all we're going to do is turn everything up to full. I've got this little battery powered Blackstar Fly 3 amp. We'll plug it into our jack. Turn it on, and just using a screwdriver or something metal, we're going to tap the poles. And something's not working. Well, that's why we test it. Let me take it apart and figure out what's going on. Just need to see what else I've done, what I've done wrong. I've done something wrong somewhere. Right, I'll be back in a minute once I've figured this out. Here's what I'm thinking. So what I had done is, these were already tied off, the red and green. So what I'd done is just soldered the black to the ground, the white to the live, and that was it. Because I'm pretty sure that's the way it was done before. What I think I'm going to do is take these 2 apart. So split the red and green. I'm going to tie the red to the white, just like this is, tie it off. I'm going to use the green as our ground, and I'm going to use the black as our live. And I'm going to split some of this shielding on this. I've plenty of length on this, so I think I'm going to split some of that. I'm looking for a bare ground. I think there is one in there. I've just broke it again, but I've plenty of length on this. I'm going to find the bare and I'm going to tie it to the green and use the green as the ground, because I think that's what we're missing. Like I said, this was wired up in a weird way that I hadn't really seen before anyway. I wish I'd explored it further before I took it all apart, but here we are. Let's see if that works. So green and bare, if I can find one, tied off to our ground. Red and white tied together, and black used as our live. That's the plan. Let's get it done. Please work, because I can't be bothered troubleshooting this all day. Volume off, volume on, and then tone. Oh, happy days.